NICE has rejected the treatment for those newly diagnosed with primary progressive MS. What is your reaction to this?
I'm fuming because the issues are quite political. It's not about the drug not being effective. It's about the drug not being cost effective at a price that's been set by a previous, what we call a single technology appraisal. Single technology appraisal is when Roche, who manufacture and market the drug, got NICE to approve it for relapsing forms of relapsing-remitting MS. And so the price there is set at a bar up there. And the reason why it was set up there is because they do what they call incremental costing. They compare the benefits of the new drug to the existing therapy. So there's a small gap between the existing disease-modifying treatments and the new one. So the cost effectiveness was set, and there's a price set. And that price is, I don't know what it is because it's secret between Roche and the NHS. And then what happens is they come back with another indication for primary progressive disease. And so that price is set there, and then with primary progressive disease they compare it to best supportive care because there are no treatments for primary progressive disease. So that price is too expensive in terms of cost effectiveness. So Roche and NICE discuss what is cost effective, and so the price will have to come down. And so I'm being told that Roche has agreed to bring the price down for primary progressive disease to much, much lower to be cost effective and get approval. However, the Department of Health, who represents the NHS, is not prepared to allow two prices for the same therapy. And so they just rejected it. So it means that people with primary progressive disease now can't get Ocrelizumab under the NHS because it's not cost effective at the relapsing-remitting price.
What are you now going to tell patients newly diagnosed with primary progressive MS?
It's a disaster because there's such unmet need. Primary progressive disease is quite a devastating condition in the sense that we have no treatments available. So for the first treatment to be licensed to treat this disease means we're just going to have to let them smolder on and get worse. I mean, the other issue is inequity because the drug's available. It's not like the drug's not available, the drug's available. Wealthy people will be able to go into the private sector and get it privately. Some people, for example, we still have an opportunity, they still maybe get licensed in Scotland, for example. That'll create a real perverse situation if the Scottish health authorities allow it for primary progressive disease and people south of the border can't get it. And then we'll get something called, drug tourism. People with MS or primary progressive disease will try and go to live in Scotland. The other thing that will happen is we won't, and this is already happening in other countries, people will stop diagnosing primary progressive disease. They will label them as having relapsing disease so they can treat them. So this is kind of how the healthcare system responds to perverse incentives. That's happened already. Sweden have published what they call epoch data across different time points, and they've seen that the proportion of people being diagnosed with primary progressive disease has plummeted over the last 20 years from being about 15 to 20% down to less than 5% in the latest figures. And that's not because primary progressive disease is disappearing, it's because people want to treat these patients because we think it's the same processes, and we think that primary progressive disease is as responsive to treatments, and just that the effects are not that great because they're more advanced in the course, so you don't see such a big treatment effect. We need to protest. That's what we have to do. So there's a petition going on right now with the MS Society launched. I just hope they've used the right platform because there is a particular platform that's used that automatically triggers a parliamentary debate. I just hope the MS Society platform can be used to trigger a parliamentary debate. But we need I think it's 150,000 signatures we need. Well, let's get 150,000 so we can get the MPs to debate it in